So, yes, very good evening, students. Welcome to 2027 fast track classes for economics. So, yes, I think in the last class, we have discussed, we have started the supply and we have discussed until the change in the supply and the change in quantity in the supply. Okay, so today 26 we are going to discuss the price elasticity of supply. Okay. So actually students, today 26th and yesterday your senior batch brothers and sisters did their A levels counting exam part 1. Okay, so and I think I have shared the 2026 serial paper in the group, right? The I think I have shared this. Okay, I can't even remember. If I didn't, I will share. Okay, so don't worry. So I'm telling about the economics paper. Okay, so yes, mm, the economics exam. So let's talk about the paper in the 2026 paper. Where so in the social media I heard something. So the students are saying the economics paper is horrible and economics paper is hard. The examiners are, there are so many questions like that. So my honest opinion is, I saw the paper, my honest opinion is the paper, it's not that much of hard. All the things, all the questions are included in the paper which was discussed in our classes. Okay, for an example, in the question number 6, the part 2 question number 6, the first question, very first question is, there are some percentages. In those percentages, we have to identify whether it is a inflation or deflation or disinflation or those things. Okay, so in the rapid revision class for the 2026 batch, I did the same thing. I explained here, writing the percentages, the inflation percentage, and I have explained. So, based on the percentage, comparatively, what is the inflation, deflation, and those things I have explained in the rapid division classes. Okay. So, likewise, there are some questions which are explained in the class. All the contents are available in the tute. So the way of asking this question, the way of asking the question is different. Okay, that what the difference between the 2026 paper and the previous paper. Okay, the way of asking the question is different, but other than that, the structure is same. The question, the weightage of the question is very much same. Okay, so if you are a student who studied thoroughly the tunes, my recordings, will definitely get an A. Okay, because in the tute I have included all the necessary things. In the unit 1, you can see, right, all the necessary things, all the graphs, all the past exam paper questions, all the case study questions. How many PPC curve we did for the unit 1? Mostly around, I think, most probably 40 PPC curves. Now, not 14, 40, 40. We did 40 PPC curves in the unit 1. Can you remember the PPC curve increasing, decreasing, one decrease, one increase? How many PPC curves we have discussed? The future consumption and the present consumption and the productive efficiency, economic efficiency, allocative efficiencies. The one sector improves, one sector depresses, the demands and the opportunity cost. How many PPC curves we have discussed in unit 1? Okay, so my honest opinion is, I have discussed all the things, okay, all the things top to bottom in my classes. Okay, so as you can see in the tute and the previous recordings, you can find the things, right? So I went through very crystal clear, detailed things for the unit one. So you don't have to fear about the exam paper because all the contents, all the notes are available in your tute. What you have to do, don't go with the soft copy because you guys, A-level students are very much familiar with the hard copies, right? The books. Because in the grade 1 to grade 11, you have very much familiar with the hard copies. So my honest opinion is take a printout of the tute, take a printout and make your notes. Very simple, isn't it? So do your homeworks. Okay. So watching my class, joining my class doesn't make you to get an A. Okay, please remember that. Okay. Sitting in my class doesn't give you an A. If you want to get the A pass, if you want to get a district rank, if you want to get a Highland rank, the honest thing, the first of all, what you have to do is you have to study. Okay, you have to do your own works, the self study. That part needs to be done. Okay, so that is up to you. Understood? So please be thorough on that. So yes, and I think you heard this recent thing, very recent news, which is in the Mana district, the government has found some petroleum resources. Petroleum resources. I think in my channel as well as in the WhatsApp group, I have shared those news. I shared those news. Okay, shared that news. So government has identified some petroleum resources in Mana district. So government is seeking some investors, potential investors to extract those resources and do in a better way. Okay. So actually, I am hoping that question will be tested in your exam in 2027 exam. In the 2026, definitely it's not because the already paper is already settled. So it didn't that question didn't test. Okay, that there was no question such like that for the 2026 exam, but in the 2027 we can hope the question for the identifying the new resource, especially from the mana. I am hoping there will be a definite case study questions in the unit number one, like I think up to 4 to 6 marks. There will be a definite case study questions for the identifying new resources in the MENA. And they definitely ask what will be the impact of the economy and what will be the change in the PPC curve. Likewise, they might gonna ask in the question number one. So as you know, if a new resource is identified, what will happen to the PPC curve? PPC curve shift to the rightwards. Okay, PPC curve shift to the rightwards, it will be increasing. Okay, so that will be the PPC curve, and we have to write some what will be the economic impact based on that. So likewise, we have to write something for the 4 to 6 marks. Okay, so I will definitely do that question, not today. After I think after finishing the unit number 1 to 3, after finishing the unit number 3, I will definitely do that question, and I have to do some researches as well. So how the things will be done? Okay, because there was a news only the natural resources found, but other than that, I didn't found any relative news. So when it will be extracted and the economic impacts. So still there are no such news like that. The impacts and the the reality of extracting the resource. So I have to do some researches and I will let you know what will be the economic impact and those stuff. Okay. So Yes. So that will be the current context of the Sri Lanka as for now. And I think that's the pretty much. So yes. So let's start the unit number two. In the unit number two, in the last class, we have discussed the change in the supply and the change in the quantity of supply. And today we are going to discuss the 2.9 price elasticity of supply. Price elasticity of supply. Price elasticity of supply. So in the price elasticity of supply, as you can see, there's a definition. So what is the definition here? For the price elasticity supply, I'm in the page number 33 in the tube, price elasticity of supply 2.9. So the definition is the responsiveness of quantity supplied to the change in the price of the concerned good when other determinants remain constant in the price elasticity of supply. Okay. The responsiveness of quantity supplied to the change in price, the concerned good price. So that is price elasticity supply. Okay. By just the words, you didn't understand what I told, but I will explain in a crystal clear manner by comparing the price elasticity supply to the price elasticity demand. Okay. So just be with me. Just be with me. 2.9 price elasticity supply. 2.9 priced elasticity supply. Okay. So actually, what is this price elasticity supply? PES, yes, you can see it. What is this PES? PES means, in the sense, the change in the quantity supply due to change in price. Okay. Change in quantity supply due to change in price, that is simply known as price elasticity supply. You can write it, right? The change in the quantity supply due to change in price. That is price elasticity supply. Okay. So actually, I think you can remember what is meant by this price elasticity demand. What is price elasticity demand? The change in quantity demand due to change in price. That is price elasticity demand. Okay. So I hope you can remember that. Price elasticity demand. Okay. So the same thing, same definition. The one word is changing. Here it is quantity demand. Here it is quantity supply. That's it. Okay. And this is the basic definition, basic equation for the price elasticity supply. So in the tube, you can see there's a space for formula. Under that formula, you can write this delta QS percentage divided by delta P percentage. Okay. In the price elasticity demand, there are two types of price elasticity demand, two types of calculation. Those will be point price elasticity, arc price elasticity. Point price elasticity for the small changes, arc price for the big changes. Likewise, in the supply, there are two methods to calculate the price elasticity supply. That methods will be same as that. Same as that. First one, point method, point price elasticity supply method, and arc price elasticity supply method, point price elasticity supply method, and arc price elasticity supply method. The equation for the point is the small changes, arc is the big changes. As you know, we in the demand we already did that. Okay, so the equation for the point price elasticity is delta QS divided by delta P multiplied by P divided by QS. Point price elasticity supply. For the arc price elasticity supply, delta QS divided by delta P multiplied by P1 plus P2 within brackets and QS1 plus QS2 within brackets. Within brackets. Within brackets. Okay, you can write the equations as well. And yes, so this is point and arc and graph for the point elasticity supply. You can draw the graph as well. Ne? So the graph for the point elasticity supply is this. This is the graph for the point elasticity supply. Okay, and for the arc, this is the supply. This is the curve for arc elasticity supply. Arc elasticity supply. Okay. I think my green marker pen is not that much of highlighting, I guess. Let's try. Yes. So this is the basic of five types of sorry, this is the basic two types of calculations of the price elasticity supply. And after that, we can move to the five types of price elasticity supply. And in the demand, in the PED, price elasticity demand, there were five types. Just tell with me. First type is what? Perfectly inelastic demand, which means PED is equals to 0. Inelastic demand, PED is less than 1, less than minus 1. Okay. Unitary elastic, PED is equals to minus 1. Okay. Elastic demand, PED is more than minus 1. Okay. Perfectly elastic demand, PED is infinity. Understood? So that is price elasticity demand, five types of PED. Okay. So likewise in the supply, we have five types of PES. Five types of PES. Okay. The first type is like in the demand, price elasticity demand. Yeah, they are starting with inelastic. Okay. Equals to 0, which means perfectly, so it's not demand, sorry. and demand. It's supply. This is perfectly inelastic supply. This is perfectly inelastic supply. Perfect inelastic supply. Okay. Yes. And this is first. The second type of PES is PES less than 1. In the demand, that is -1. Here is +1. +1, na? +1. Okay? +1. +1. This is known as inelastic supply. This is known as inelastic supply. Okay. Mm, yes. The space will be enough. Okay. Third PES is equal to 1. That is unitary elastic supply. Unitary elastic supply. Okay. Fourth one is PES more than +1 or 1. Instead of plus, you can ignore it, the plus sign, because uh, you don't have to mention the plus for positive ones. So this is known as PES is more than 1. This is known as elastic supply. Elastic supply. Elastic supply. Elastic supply. The fifth one will be PES is equals to infinity. That is known as perfect elastic supply. Perfect elastic supply. So there are five types of price elasticity supply. Five types of price elasticity supply. Five types. What are those? First one, tell with me. Perfectly inelastic supply, which is PES is equals to 0. Inelastic supply, which is PES is less than 1. Unitary elastic supply, PES each is equals to 1. Elastic supply, PES is more than 1. Perfect elastic supply, PES is equals to infinity. Infinity. Yes. So these are the five types of price elasticity supply. And in the demand, when we do the demand, I have explained the five types of price elasticity demand with the graph. Okay. So likewise, in the supply, we are going to do the same thing. Okay. So let's start with price elasticity supply. price elasticity supply. Okay. So very simple, huh? You don't have to worry. Very simple. And I am starting with the table. I start with here. Price and quantity supply. In the page number 34, you can see it's starting with the perfect inelastic supply and 10, 20, and the QS will be 100, 100. Okay. This will be the graph. Sorry, this will be the table. Okay. Based on this, I'm going to draw a graph. This is price and this is quantity, and I'm starting by yes 50, 100, it's 10, it's 20. Okay, and it's 10, yes, 20, yes. So the price elasticity supply for the perfect inelastic is the graph will be like this. Straight line. I think it's a straight line, right? Yes, it's straight line. In the camera, it's very much curvy. It's straight line, huh? Yes, I have a foot ruler. Otherwise, you might get confused, students. Okay? Otherwise, you might get confused. Yes, this is a straight line, like this. Okay? It's a straight line. Just perfect straight line. Okay, it's a perfect straight line. And this will be your supply curve for PES, which is equals to 0, which means perfectly inelastic supply. This is your supply graph. Okay. Demand is also same, ne? Perfectly inelastic demand. Same graph, ne? Okay. Yes. Next, we'll go to inelastic supply. Okay. Inelastic supply. Inelastic supply, price and quantity supply. There is a table here, 10, 20, 30 and 100, 110 and 120. Okay. 10, 20, 30, 100, 110 and 120. Okay. I'll draw the graph then. Okay. This will be the 50 and this will be the 100 and this will be the 110. Okay. 120. 10, 20, 30. Okay. When the price is 10 and it will be 100. When the price is 20, it will be 110. Okay. When the price is 30, it will be 120. Okay. I need to erase this, so otherwise it may be intercept. Okay. I will erase this and draw here. Price and quantity supply. Yes. 10, 20, 30. 110, 120 and 130, isn't it? Sorry, 100, 110 and 120. 100, 110 and 120. Okay. The points will be like this. Here, here and here. Okay. So just telling like this. Yes. This will be your graph supply curve for the inelastic supply. This will be your supply curve for the inelastic supply. Okay. Now let's go to unitary elastic supply. Unitary elastic supply. 10, 20, 30, 100, 200, 300. Okay. The price and the quantity supply. I think it's visible. Yes, very much perfect. 10, 20, 30, 100, 150 and 200. 100, sorry, 100, 200, 300. My mistake. 100, 200 and 300. Ten, 20, 30, 100, same gaps 200, same gaps 300. When it's 10, just 100, 20, 200, 30, 300, and the curves will be okay, and this will be your supply curve. Okay, starting from zero. Starting from zero. This will be your supply curve for unitary elastic. Okay, then after that, elastic supply. Okay, elastic supply 20, 20 10, 15, 20, 100, 200, 300. Price and quantity supply 10, 15, 100, 300. 100, 200, 300. Okay. Okay. 15, 200 and 20, 300. Mm, 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 mm. Nah, I think it's not getting the correct way. Yes. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Starting from here. Yes. This is your elastic supply starting from price axis. Starting from price axis. Now let's move to perfect inelastic supply. Perfect inelastic supply. The page number 36, price and the quantity supply. Okay, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 100, 200, 500, 100, 200, 500. Okay. Price and quantity. Okay. Only one price. 100, 200, even 500. Let's I draw 500 here. And this will be your supply curve. Okay. Okay. So yes, this will be the five types of supply curve. Supply curve. Understood? Okay. So let's see what are the descriptions for each type of supply curve in the page. Go to the page number 34 now. Okay, turn back to page number 34 and let's talk about the descriptions. First, we'll start with the perfectly inelastic supply. The description says quantity supplied does not change when the all prices changes. Yes, quantity supply doesn't change when all the price changes. Yes, ne? Okay. The example for the perfect inelastic is train seats, theater seats, original work cards, lands, and specific city. Now, train seats and theater seats. Why this example, sir? You might ask, sir, why Komal sir, train seats and the theater seats are becoming an example for this? எப்படி train seats and theater seats இதுக்கு எக்ஸாம்பிளா வரும்? Students, in theater, for an example, in theater, imagine in a theater hall, the theater itself has 100 seats. 100 seats, right? So the quantity is limited. The quantity is limited in the theater. Okay, you can increase and decrease the price. For the first day of a show, the premiere show, you can charge 1000 rupees, and the normal shows you can charge 500 rupees. You can change the price, but you can't change the quantity. The seats are 100. Can you put 150 people in the theater? No, right? So that's the basic example. Okay. So theater seats, train seats, flight seats, the seats are limited. You can increase and decrease the price based on the demand. That's completely, yeah. Okay, so that's why that will be the unique example. Train seats, theater seats. Okay, yes. Example. And inelastic supply, perfect example is agricultural crops. Agricultural crops. Okay. The description in change in QS, it's less than change in P. Yes. See the change in the QS. This is the change in the QS, right? See, this is the change in the QS. But change in the price, look at the change in the price. Wow, it's really big, right? See? So, change in the QS, it's less than the change in the price. That is inelastic supply. Okay. Unitary elastic, there will be no example for unitary elastic, but look at the description. Change in the QS is equals to change in the P. Yes, definitely. See, this is the change in the P. This is change in the P. See, this is change in the P. And this is change in the QD. QS, sorry, QS. See, it's pretty much same, right? It's pretty much same. If you draw this graph in a correct graph paper, you can see the difference. Okay, the difference is clearly same. Okay. Next, elastic, the change in the QS is more than change in P. Change in the QS is more than change in P. The example for this is mass produced manufactured goods, or else you can write down as industrial goods. Mass production manufacturing goods. Mass production manufacturing goods. What is the mass production manufacturing goods? These cameras, mobile phones, fan, AC, these whiteboards. It's a mass production, right? It's producing in factories, industrial factories, mass production manufacturing goods. So the price change is limited here. See, look at the price change. The price change is small, but the quantity change is big. See, the price change is small, but the quantity change is big. Okay. Yes. And finally, the perfectly elastic supply. Perfectly elastic supply. Best example for the perfectly elastic supply is import goods. Import goods. See, the price remains same, but the quantity increase or decrease. Look at here, import goods. So let's imagine you are importing iPhones from China. Importing iPhones from China. So you can import whatever the quantity you want. Even 100 phones, 200 phones, 300 phones, doesn't matter, you can import, but you have to pay the same price, ne? You have to pay the same price. The price doesn't change, but the quantity will change. Import goods. Price doesn't change, but the quantity changes. Import goods. Okay. And if you want, you can calculate the PES as well for this. For the each and everything, you can calculate the price elasticity supply as well. You know the definition, right? The delta QD divided by delta QS divided by delta P multiplied by P divided by QS. You can calculate the PED. I can do one example for this. I'll do one example for this, for the question number 5. And if you want, you can calculate the price elasticity supply for each elastic. We can calculate, but I will do here only for you this. Okay, so I'll use the point elastic. Okay, delta QS divided by delta P multiplied by P divided by QS. This is the formula. Ne? Okay, and the delta QS, look at the change here. Change in QS 100. Okay, this is 300, but I don't take it that. I'll change, I'll took here 100. Delta P 0. Okay, and multiplied by P, I'll take 20, and QS, I'll take 100. You will get this, or in the calculator, you will get error symbol. Okay, error means infinite. Okay, in the calculator you will get error. Error means infinity. Okay, if you solve this, okay, so if you want, I can do this calculation as well for you. One last calculation. Delta QS divided by delta P multiplied by P divided by QS. Okay. Delta QS is 10 and P is 10. Okay. Delta P is 10. Delta P it's 10. Delta QS also 10. I'm taking this price at 10 rupees. At 10 rupees, the QS will be 100. QS will be 100. Okay. Bring both 10. This divided by this 1 divided by 10, 0.1. Okay, 0.1. PS is less than 1. Okay, PS is less than 1, which means inelastic supply. So likewise, you can calculate the rest of the three. That will be your homework. Okay, so yes, and after that there's a small section, determinants of price elasticity supply. That's a very much theory part, that is not that much of hard thing. You can read and understand what is determinants of supply, price elasticity supply. And yes, and after that there are some questions, practice section number 2.10 and 2.9 together. There are some questions, you can do it on your own self. Okay, and after that I'm hoping to do the market. Yes, 2.10, the market and the types and the functions. Okay, let's start that as well. Okay, for today, and I'm hoping to finish that market. I'm hoping to finish. If not, I will finish that in the next class. Okay, I'm trying to finish that question today. If not, I will finish that in the next class. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. And yes, and this will be the theory, and I'm going to give you exactly 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So write down the theory, just draw the graph. There are some spaces in the tube. You can see, as you can see, there are some spaces in the, for every supply there are some spaces. Okay, in the page number 36, in the page number 35, 34, 34, 35, 36, 34, 35, 36, there are some spaces for each and each supply, each price elasticity supply. So under the each price elasticity supply, draw this graph, draw this graph. Okay, draw this graph and calculate the price elasticity supply like I did here. Okay, for the perfect elastic and perfect elastic and inelastic, I have calculated the supply. These are answers. Okay, for the rest of the three, inelastic supply and unitary elastic supply and elastic supply, calculate the PES. Okay, after drawing this graph. So I will give you 10 minutes for that, and after that we'll start the market equilibrium and types and functions. Okay, so yes, your time starts now. Okay, students. So let's move to our next portion, which is 2.10, the market and the types and the functions. Okay. Actually, what is this market? Market. Mining market? Palliagoda market? What is this market? Any ideas? If you don't have any ideas, we can look at the tute. What the tute says, market which exchange the goods and services is defined as market. Exchange the goods and services. To whom? To whom? To buyers to sellers. Within brackets, write down buyers to sellers or sellers to buyers. Goods and services exchange between the sellers and buyers. Goods and services exchange between sellers and buyers. This is market. This is market. Goods and services exchange. You give money and take fruits. You give money and buy vegetables. You give money and buy eggs. Give money, take goods. Market. Okay. So this is market. Very simple. Huh? Very simple. This is market. Okay. This is market. Understood? So there are two types of market. First one is goods and services market, and second one is factor market. Okay, there are two types of market in the economics. First one is goods and services market, second one is factor market. Okay, goods and services market, and second one factor market. Goods and services market and factor market. Actually, what is this goods and services market? Look at the tune. Exchange of consumer goods and services. Okay, so what they are exchanging the goods and services. Goods and services. They are exchanging goods and services, likewise the fruits and vegetables, the meat. Okay, so that is goods and services market. And look at the factor market. Factor market is what? Exchange the production factors. Exchange the production factors. You know the production factors, right? Production factors. Exchange the production factors. What are the production factors? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Exchanging the production factors. Factor market. Okay. The goods and services market, consumers are buyers. Consumers are buyers. Or household, huh? Consumers are buyers. But in the factor market, firms, producers are buyers. Producers are buyers. So you might ask, sir, Koma as a producer කෙනෙක් buy කෙනෙක් වෙන්නේ? It's not possible නේ. Huh? எப்படி சார் ஒரு producer வந்து buyer ஆவார்? Possible னே. It's not possible னே. How it's become? Wait, I'll explain. So in the goods and services market, so let's assume you are going to market you household you okay a person going into the Paliagoda market and buying fish or going to many market and buying vegetables. Yes, that is goods and services market. The consumer is the buyer. Okay, completely fine. Imagine the Kade Mudalali, the Manning market Kade Mudalali need a person to handle the packages. Handle the packages. That Manning market Kade Mudalali need a person to handle the packages. So he need what? He need a labor. So he is buying a labor. He is posting a vacancy and he is buying a labor and he is paying for it. So he is buying a labor. So in the factor market, the producers are buying the labor. If you are a businessman, if you want to do a business, you have to buy a land. Okay, so you are purchasing it. So the producers is a buyer. Understood? That is factor market. I hope it is clear. Okay. So yes, the producers are sellers. Yes. Here the producers are sellers. Here the producers are sellers. Yes. We are going and buying the goods from the Kade Mudalali. Okay, in the money market. The producers are sellers. And here, household, rather than doing for consumers, let's take household are sellers. So in the earlier I told the Kade Mudalali is need a labor and he is posting a vacancy and he is getting a labor. Okay, so Kade Mudalali is a consumer. And who is going to supply that labor? The household, right? The common people. Okay, in the unit 1, we have discussed the household, business firms, government, non-profit organizations, labor organizations. Okay, the sub-elements of market system in the unit 1 we have discussed. Okay, so the household is the person who distributes the production factors. They are the sellers. Okay, they are the sellers of the production factors. Okay. Next, they have a direct demand. Direct demand. Direct demand. Direct demand for goods and services market. Direct demand. Direct demand means consumer. Okay. If you want to buy a vegetable, you go to Kade Mudaladi, go to a grocery, and you might ask, so not the sorry, Aya, give me 2 kilos of vegetables. You can go directly in the Kade and ask, Aya, give 2 kilos of vegetables. Direct demand. Consumer straight away goes to the Kade Mudalali, and asks from the Kade Mudalali that what they want. Okay, you go to Kade, Petty Kade or vegetable store and ask, give me 2 kilos of vegetables, and you bought it. Direct demand. You are dealing directly. But here, here we have indirect demand. Indirect demand. Indirect demand. And you might say, what is this indirect demand? തേരിന്നേനി പുരിയല്ലിಗೆ indirect demand in the sense, what is this indirect demand? Indirect demand is what? Imagine that kade mudalali needs a labor. That kade mudalali needs a labor. So, in order to handle the packaging in the early example, the kade mudalali needs a labor. So, the kade mudalali goes to everyone. Okay, dakina ayadni. I need one labor. Can you come to my work? Can you come to my work? Can you come to my work? And Koral Venum, can you come to my work? Can you come to my work? Likewise, he can say that. No, right? No. If you want to get a labor, what you have to do, you have to post it in a social media, or else you can post that vacancy in a newspaper. Okay? So, in the newspaper, they're posting it, and the household will see the newspaper and they will call you. Okay? So, there is not a direct connection. You have to tell for the newspaper or social media, and the social media handling it, and the social media shows that to the people, and people will call you. Indirect. 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 So, Kade Mudalali is here. It's not visible. Ne? Okay. The Kade Mudalali can't directly go and ask the household. This is household. This is household. This is Kade Mudalali business firms. Okay. The Kade Mudalali posts the vacancy in the newspaper. I need a labor. And the newspaper will distribute the news to household, and household will directly call the firm. This is indirect demand. Here, you are the household, you need 2 kilos of vegetable, and you ask directly. And you ask directly, yeah, I need 2 kilos of vegetable. Here, he can't ask directly. If we goes and ask directly, may මගේ ගාඩියට වැඩ කරන්න යනවාද මගේ වැඩ කරන්න එනවාද කියලා, if they ask directly from everyone, he will be කට්ටිය දුවට ගහනවා. People think he is a mad person. யோசிச்சு பாருங்க. ஸோ யாராவது ஒருத்தர் உங்ககிட்ட வந்து கடைக்கு வேலை செய்வாங்களா வேலை செய்வாருங்களான்னு கேட்டா, what the people think of him? He's a crazy person, right? So it's not logical, right? To go after every person and ask, can you come to work for me? So the proper way is this. So there will be a indirect demand for the factor mark. Okay. And the last, the examples are labor market, land market, and the capital market for the factor market. For the examples for the goods and services market is rice market and the clothing market and the electronics market. Okay. So that is market, and there's a question. Okay, and you can do that question. And after that, we can go to the market equilibrium. Okay, I have around 25 minutes, I guess. So yes, we can do that. The market equilibrium. Okay. Let's start with market equilibrium. What is this market equilibrium? Okay, market equilibrium. We'll start with market equilibrium. Market equilibrium. So actually, what is this market equilibrium? Look at the definition for the market equilibrium. the situation in a competitive market where the quantity demand is equals to the quantity supplied, so there will be no excess demand or excess supply. So I think you don't know the excess demand and the excess supply, so just ignore that word. Don't cut it off, just ignore it. I will explain what is excess demand and excess supply later, but just for the time being, what is market equilibrium? Market equilibrium is the situation where the quantity demand is equals to quantity supply. This is market equilibrium. The situation where quantity demand is equals to quantity supply, that is market equilibrium. Okay, so just ignore the excess demand and the excess supply just for the time being. Okay, I will explain that later. Okay. So there are some conditions on the market equilibrium. So condition one is expected demand price and the supply price is same. Expected demand and the supply is same. And excess demand and excess supply is zero. And the excess demand price and excess supply price is zero. And consumer expenditure and the producer revenue is equals. Okay. Mm, there are some conditions. Okay, so I will explain these conditions later. If I explain these conditions now, you will get confused. You will definitely get confused. Okay. So I will explain these condition later. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So just keep the conditions as a stack. Okay. And we'll move forward with the other portion. Okay. So what the next portion says, the three ways to show the market equilibrium. Okay, so go to the page number 40. The three ways to show the market equilibrium. What is the first way? Using a schedule. Okay, this is the schedule. The page number 40. This is the schedule. Okay, as you can see in the tube, in this schedule. Okay, so I'll draw this schedule, otherwise you might get confused. Okay, I'll draw this schedule. First one to find the market equilibrium is schedule. I'll explain within this schedule. Okay. Here the price, this is quantity demand, this is quantity supply, this is excess demand, this is excess supply. Price 1 to 6 ne? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay. And this is the table. Okay. This is the table. So, what is the condition? What is the condition? The condition is what? Condition for the market equilibrium is quantity demand is equals to quantity supply. Okay. Look at here. The quantity demand, quantity supply, quantity demand, quantity supply, quantity demand, quantity supply. And here for the price 3, quantity demand, quantity supply. See here, quantity demand is 6, quantity supply is also 6. So this is the situation where we can find the market equilibrium. Just highlight it. This is the situation where we can find the market equilibrium. Okay, this is the situation where we can find the market equilibrium, and this price, this is this price 3, this is known as equilibrium price. This is equilibrium price. This is the situation of market equilibrium. Ne? This is market equilibrium. Huh? This is market equilibrium. In this situation, we are getting a market equilibrium. Okay, and this price is equilibrium price. This 6 rupees, this 6, okay, this 6 rupees is known as equilibrium quantity. This 6 rupees is known as equilibrium quantity. Understood? This 3 is equilibrium price. This 3 is equilibrium price, and this 6 is equilibrium quantity. Okay, and this is the situation where we can find the market equilibrium. Okay, it's completely fine. So look at the condition number 1. Now go to the condition. Look at the condition number 1. Look at the condition number 1. Expected demand price and the expected supply price is equals. See, expected demand price is 3, which means in the QD the demand price is 3. In the QS the demand price is 3. See? So expected demand price and the expected supply price is equals. So the condition number 1 is fulfilled. Expected demand price is 3. Expected supply price is 3. Condition 1 fulfilled. Okay. Look at the condition number 2 here. Quantity demand is equals to quantity supply. 6 equals 6. 6 equals 6. Quantity demand is equals to quantity supply. 6 equals 6. See, condition number 2 fulfilled. Okay. And condition number 3. Condition number 3. Okay, I'll explain the condition number 3 and 4 here. Okay. Condition number 3. Condition number 3. Okay. So, in order to do the condition number 3 and 4, what we need what? We need excess demand and excess supply. Okay. How to calculate the excess demand? The equation, look students, the equation for the excess demand is QD minus QS, excess demand. Okay. How to calculate the excess supply? Excess supply, QS minus QD. That is the equation for excess supply. Okay. I think it's not visible, I guess. How to calculate the excess supply? QS minus QD. That is excess supply. Understood? Understood? So students, let's calculate the excess demand and the excess supply. Workings. QD minus QS. Excess demand, I start with excess demand. 12 minus 0, the excess demand will be 12. 10 minus 2, 8. 8 minus 4, 4. 6 minus 6, 0. 4 minus 8, minus 4. 2 minus 10, minus 8. 0 minus 12, minus 12. Our excess demand. Look at the excess supply here. 0 minus 12. See, 0 minus 12, minus 12. 2 minus 10, minus 8. 4 minus 8, minus 4, 6 minus 6, 0, 8 minus 4, 4, here 10 minus 2, 8, 12 minus 0, 12. Okay. Look at the condition number 3 and 4 here. Look at the condition number 3 and 4 here. What is the condition number 3? Excess demand equals 0 and excess supply equals 0. Excess demand equals 0. Excess supply equals 0. Okay. Excess demand equals 0. Excess supply equals 0. Look at the condition number 4. Excess demand price equals excess supply price equals 0. Okay. So cut off the 0 there. Cut off the 0 there. Okay. In the condition number 4. The condition number 4. In the condition number 4, equals to 0. Cut off the equals to 0. That is a typing mistake. Okay. Cut off the equals to 0. Cut it. Okay. So what is the condition number 4? Excess demand price equals excess supply price. Yes. This is excess demand. In the excess demand, the price is 3. This is excess supply. Excess supply price is 3. 3 equals 3. See? Excess demand price equals excess supply price. See? 4 conditions fulfilled. 4 conditions fulfilled in the market equilibrium. Okay. So the fifth condition, consumer expenditure equals to producer revenue. Consumer expenditure equals to producer revenue. Yes, consumer expenditure equals to producer revenue. Okay. The fifth condition, consumer expenditure equals to producer revenue. I'll draw here. I'll do here. The consumer expenditure. Consumer expenditure first, and second one, producer revenue. Okay. Equations for the consumer expenditure is price multiplied by quantity demand, because this is the price, quantity demand is what the consumer amount going to buy, the amount of the consumers going to buy. Price minus quantity demand, it's consumer expenditure equation. What is producer revenue? Price multiplied by quantity supply. Price multiplied by quantity supply, that is producer revenue. The price and how much they sold, that is consumer revenue. Sorry, producer revenue. Producer revenue is what? The price and how much they sold. What is consumer expenditure? The price and how much they bought. Okay. So the price is 3 here. Okay. So the price is 3 here and quantity 6, 18. Producer revenue 3, 6, 80. See, it's equals, right? Consumer expenditure equals to producer revenue. Price 3, quantity 6. Price 3, quantity 6. Understood? Understood? And this is the situation of market equilibrium. So highlight this whole thing. Highlight this whole thing. This is the situation of market equilibrium. Okay. Again, I'm going with the conditions and I will conclude the class. Okay. In the next class, I will explain the formula and the graphs as well. Formula, graphs, and the other things will be discussed in the next class. In the next class, I'm hoping to finish the unit number 2 entirely. Okay. And after that, I will do the past papers, and after that, we'll start the unit number 3. Okay. So in the next class, the unit number 2 will be completely finished. Okay. So just talk with me, say with me. The first condition is what? The first condition is what? expected demand price equals to expected supply price. Expected demand price equals to expected supply price. Okay. Second is what? Quantity demand equals to quantity supply. See, quantity demand equals to quantity supply. Second condition. Third condition is what? Excess demand equals 0 and excess supply equals 0. See, excess demand equals 0 and excess supply equals 0. Okay. Fourth condition is what? Excess demand price equals to excess supply price. Yes. Excess demand price equals to excess supply price. Excess demand price equals to excess supply price. 3. Okay. Fifth condition is what? Consumer expenditure. Consumer expenditure, which is equals to producer revenue. Producer revenue. Understood? Okay, so these are the 5 conditions of market equilibrium, and those 5 conditions have been explained using the schedule. Okay, so in the next class we are going to do what? In the next class I am going to do the graph and the equations. Okay, graphs and the equations will be calculated in the next class, and the market equilibrium, there are some graphs for the market equilibrium, and after that we can conclude the unit number 2 and we can start off the unit number 3. Okay, so I'm hoping to conclude the unit number 2 in the next class, so don't miss the unit number 2. So today onwards the units are very much important. If you miss the live class, go and watch the recordings. Okay, without watching the recording, don't come to the live class, the next live class. Okay, because you might get confused. Understood? So the recordings are available immediately after the class finished. Most probably in the Fridays, the recordings will be uploaded. So please watch the recordings. Okay. So yes, that's the pretty much of today. And I hope today lessons are very much clear. Okay. I did my best in order to explain the things properly in a crystal clear manner. And now it's your duty to study the unit number 2. And okay, so the time is ticking, and I hope today's session was very good and very productive. And I am hoping to see you all the students in the next class as well. So yes, so thanks for joining. See you in the next class. Thank you.